What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are outside the Knockdown Center in Queens. Right now, the Devil Wears Prada is absolutely killing it. And right now, these guys fucking killed it. We got Polaris. Thank you so much, Jamie, for being here.
How you doing, man? Good to be part of the show.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I mean, first of all, congratulations. It's your first U.S. tour. You guys are like the fourth band this year I've interviewed on their first U.S. tour.
Oh, sweet. Who else have you interviewed on the coming over?
First, Ginger, Stone Broken.
Oh, true, Ginger. Fuck yeah.
Ginger.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
My bad. All right, cool. Just check it.
No, you're required to swear.
Well, fuck me.
Screw monetization, right?
Screw it, mate. Screw it.
But Ginger, Stone Broken, and Persephone.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Tonight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But you guys just played an awesome set. The Mortal Coil, it is out now. You guys absolutely need to check it out. But how has the making of it and the record cycle been thus far?
Well, we're still in the record cycle. Actually, like we only released this November. It's like about 10 months ago, give or take. It's been incredible since releasing it. Like we put a bit of pressure on ourselves in the lead up to releasing it, and not that I want to say we weren't confident in releasing the record, but you know we had our doubts. And since the release, like the response has completely blown us away. Like the response to our record has been incredible, absolutely incredible. You know, it's done a lot more than we ever thought it would. I mean, hey, we're in America right now on tour with three of our most favorite bands. My personal favorite band, the Devil Wears Prada, who are playing right now, like all-time favorite band. Like this record has given us so many opportunities that we never thought we'd get. You know, like as I said, like we're here in America for our very first time. We just we're on this tour with Parkway, August Burns Red, and the Devil Wears Prada, and also we just finished up a run with Gideon as well. Which is amazing to be able to smash out 2 tours for our first time coming over here, which has been sick. And as I said, I know I'm repeating myself a bit, but the response to the record has blown us away. Not just back home, but you know, worldwide. We've been to Europe twice now. We're now here in America, and everyone's loving the record, and it's been amazing that it's been received so well around the world so far. It's been great. Yeah, I can promise you right now, this will not be your last American tour. I can tell you that much. This is. I hope not. I hope not.
People have been hyping up about this since the tour was announced. People are just like, fuck yeah, Polaris, perfect band. And it almost seems like this is like the perfect bill, because I would say that you guys, Devil Wears Prada, August Burns Red, and Parkway Drive do have a lot of similarities, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's all metalcore at the end of the day, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
I was gonna say that for lack of better words.
In different variants, I guess you could say. But I mean, the way I see it is, you know, these three bands are you know, there's a few more out there that obviously aren't on the lineup, but these three bands are pretty much the main core bands that have led the metalcore scene over the past 10 plus years. You know, and like even if we weren't a part of this lineup, I still view this lineup as like the lineup of the past decade, pretty much. Like this is an insane lineup, and the fact that we get to be a part of this is incredible, absolutely incredible, man. Like,
but you played with a variety of different bands in your career, like, you know, as you mentioned, your last tour was with Gideon, and not to pigeonhole them, but they're a little more deathcore-y, like, you know.
So to speak, I guess more hardcore, kind of a slightly different scene than what we're used to, but yeah.
And then The Plot and You, which is also fairly different. Do you notice maybe like, and being that you have songs that are both very heavy and very melodic, do you maybe like put the heavier songs on your set list depending on who you play with?
Oh, of course, yeah. That's we thought, well, I thought that the record was a little bit all over the place, but as you know, the record's been received so well, which is great, because you know when we are on a lineup like Gideon and like this is a bit more of a melodic lineup, but like, you know, lineup like Gideon, you know, we can play the more heavier songs, and then we're on a lineup that's you know, a bit more melodic, like this one with the Devil Wears Prada and August Burns Red, or like we played a tour back home a year and a bit ago with Plenty and Intervals, which is, you know, they're instrumental bands, but our music, we can cater to that kind of audience too. They're a bit more technical, a bit more melodic, a bit more, you know, guitar show-offy, I guess you could say. Like it's really awesome that, you know, we lucked out that our music is quite diverse like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. And one question I was really curious about in the songwriting process, being both you and Jake are incorporating vocals into it, how do you guys decide who does what? Because you have both a great screaming and melodic voice, and Jake has a great melodic voice. How do you decide? I
mean, we get, I guess, like, you know, Daniel, our main lyricist, kind of writes the parts, and, you know, as the song comes together, as the lyrics come together, we kind of go, oh, I feel Jake is more fitting for this part, or we feel, myself is more fitting for this part. Like, I mean, like with Dust Today, where I sing for the first half of the song. Excuse me. We specifically wanted to do that with me actually singing for that song, whereas from here on out, we're introducing a lot more of me singing, and we're going to have, quite a few more tracks with me actually doing a lot more singing than what is already on the Mortal Coil. But going back to what you said though, we kind of just see how the part fits, and if it sounds like, oh, this is a bit more of a Jake kind of moment or Jake chorus, then we write it for, we get Jake to do it, not write it for Jake. We get Jake to do it, and vice versa. If it's a part that feels like it's more fitting for me to do it, then we get me to do it. Like, I guess it's great that we're both so flexible, and we're both, Jake, not only is he an amazing singer, he's got a pretty fucking powerful scream as well. So like we can have him doing some screaming sections and me not without me doing them, and vice versa as well. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And one question I was curious, being a vocalist, and I ask this with just about every vocalist, but do you need to hear music in order to come up with lyrics, or does sometimes a lyrical concept have to determine the music?
I guess that's a bit more of a question for Daniel, because he's our lyricist, but
okay.
Daniel does write both for the music when we got music and also lyrics just by themselves. He'll write with a bit of like a, maybe not so much, I guess you could say like a bit of a beat in mind, or like a feel of how he would like this, like a certain lyric section to go over a certain kind of music. So it's kind of like a 50-50. Sometimes he'll just have lyrics and be like, yeah, let's try and fit these to this song, or he'll write lyrics specifically for a certain piece of music. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's cool that it works both ways. Sometimes it's one's dominant over another.
You got to be flexible.
Absolutely.
Got to be flexible.
Absolutely. And speaking, one thing I would like to actually bow my head and apologize for, because normally I prefer doing interviews before the show, but seeing you guys play just now before the interview actually really gave me another question that I wanted to incorporate, because that was an incredible live performance. And I'm not like just saying this to brown nose by any means, but like, I've never seen an opening band really kick so much ass like that. I mean, to get a Wall of Death that early into the set, you already gave the security guards an idea on how much of a difficult night they're gonna have. But
hey, gotta make them work, mate. They're getting paid for as soon as doors open, so I'm just making them earn their money, mate.
Exactly. But how different of a vibe is it playing your music live versus playing in like a studio or a practice space?
You mean like when we're rehearsing kind of thing?
Yeah, like, is it because you're playing in front of an audience, people are identifying with your music, you're sharing their art, you must have like a totally different perspective on your music after seeing an audience's reaction, right?
Oh, of course. Like, when when we prepare for a tour, or, just jamming out in the rehearsal room, it is quite different. Like, it's usually us just like standing around and, just playing along to the songs. We might move a little bit here and there, just especially when we prepare for a tour. We like to get a bit energetic in the rehearsal space, because that's what we like to do to get used to moving around and stuff while we play. But in terms of going from a rehearsal space to then coming and playing it live, like it is quite awesome to see how the crowd reacts to certain songs. I mean, we've played these songs a lot now. Excuse me. So we can kind of expect. I don't really want to say expect, but we can kind of anticipate what kind of reaction we're going to get for certain sections and certain songs. For example, the Wall of Death that I do and consume, sometimes we've had crowds where they've been dead, or not so much dead, but not as much of an energetic crowd. And I just looked and I've kind of just gone, I'll test it, fuck it, and I'll just ask for a Wall of Death, and next minute the crowd is just like split in half, and it's like one of the biggest Wall of Deaths that we've had. And then other nights they'll be just energetic from the get-go as soon as that first beat hits from our intro track. It is interesting over the years of playing our music, seeing how different different states back home react to different songs, and now that we're branching out worldwide, seeing the different countries and how they react to certain songs as well, and different sections of our music and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And one final question I wanted to ask you is, just over the weekend, we interviewed Finland's finest with Omnium Gatherum and Tarja. We interviewed Sweden's finest with Dark Tranquility. We interviewed Portugal's finest with Moonspell. I consider you guys at this point one of Australia's finest. Now,
thank you very much.
You know, you're obviously touring with Parkway Drive, which is a favorite amongst many from Australia, but home to Thy Art Is Murder and King Parrot, Neil Bliviscaris. It's so many bands. AC/DC, if you heard of them.
Oh, of course, mate. Of course. Who hasn't heard of AC/DC? You should be shunned if you haven't heard of AC/DC.
But now I know that Australia, there's not really much in the middle, but all the cities are on the perimeter. But is there
very coastal?
Yeah. Is there a metal scene in Australia that you guys kind of cut your teeth in a little bit?
Yeah. There's a very, very big metal scene back home. A lot of I don't know where I was going with that. Yes, there is a pretty big metal scene back home. And you know, I guess over the years we've been a band now for coming up on 6 years in the next month or two. Over the past 6 years, I guess we've just really built our name up back home in Australia, and we, to the point where most of the shows that we play now are very chaotic, and some of the most memorable shows that we get to play. It's incredible. We got a tour coming up, a little bit of self promotion. We got a headliner we're doing back home in November. And as I said before, the Devil Wears Prada are my favorite band. We're bringing them out. They're going to be main support for our tour back home.
Really?
Which is, I'm kind of losing my mind over. And we're also bringing out Gideon, who we just toured with over here, and our boys from Melbourne in a band called Thornhill.
Oh,
they're awesome. Yeah. For anyone watching this, I would check out Thornhill. They're fucking mad. Props to those guys. This is going to be our biggest, most ambitious tour that we've ever done. These are the biggest headline shows that we will have ever done, and the shows are looking to be insane. It's going to be Polaris that you have, a side of Polaris that you haven't experienced before, and as I said, over the years we've built ourselves up, I guess, to this point, with this tour that we got coming up at the end of the year. So, yeah.
Awesome.
A bit of shameless promotion. Sorry about that.
No,
but
that's what the point of this interview is.
It's kind of to do with the question. So
you just saved me the question before we go. If there's anything else you want to promote, I mean, you have that headlining tour coming up. Now that the Mortal Coil is almost a year old, just anything else with Polaris that we could be expecting?
I'm not going to spill the beans, but when is this airing?
Approximately midnight.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. The next 48 hours, keep your eyes peeled for something very exciting.
Awesome.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Dude, thank you so much for having me.
Everybody, we are here with Jamie of Polaris. Pick up the Mortal Coil if you haven't already. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We'll see you next time.